I'm not disgracing the CVN. I am telling the truth about what is hidden in the CVN. And it's a shameful to Nigerian government that we should borrow money to pay salary of the federal government workers. Even salary, not even infrastructure. 70% of the salary will be implemented by borrowing. And these people, they hold Nigerian money in their hand. This is what is paining me. Why?
Honorable,
Nigerian people cannot supposed to suffer.
Honorable.
I said 89.1 trillion. People are surprising. There was one minister that I had. I never heard from him. But he said, I'm supposed to go to psychiatric.
Or maybe you're supposed to go and test and find out what is wrong with your brain.
That is what, because of the amount of the money they had, 89 trillion, but he's supposed to be, the person that told me that I supposed to be, my brain supposed to be investigated in the psychiatry. He is the one supposed to be investigated. Because as a government official, as a minister, he's supposed to know what is going. He could have invited me because he's my right man. We are all working under President Muhammad Buhari. So he can invite me and ask me my side. And now how will he say to the Nigerian people that almost 22 trillion borrowed to the federal government by Central Bank of Nigeria? And Central Bank in 2020, they said they borrowed 23.4 trillion to banks. So when you add 22 trillion with 24 trillion, it will give you almost 46 trillion. So somebody who can borrow 46 trillion to government and the banks, how much he have that he can borrow you 46 trillion. And when you look at the total equity of the CBN, as at, I think they are 0.3 trillion. But surprisingly, how those people get opportunity to borrow 46 trillion to federal government and the banks? So that money that I am suspecting is the government money. They share it, they give it as a loan to some banks, state. So that money is for federal government. And I am assure you, Nazuru, if investigation go deep, some of the Nigerian banks will come back to be owned by government, because it's a government money that some people buy shares.
That was used.
That was used to buy the shares in some banks. So it's a Nigerian money. And this thing we are doing it for the benefit of our country.
Honorable Muhammad Gudaji Kazaure, in as much as we can accept or agree with what you are trying to say, there are some that are really arguing that there is an argument, or some people are saying, how on earth that 50-50 naira of stamp duty can accumulate to become trillions of naira that you are saying is a stamp duty money that is yet to be transferred into one account?
When you go back, when the cashless transaction started in 6 states, including plus FCT, 6 states plus FCT, Central Bank said they target 2.5 trillion per year in 6 states. The time they started cashless transaction, in only 6 states plus Abuja, they target 2.5 trillion a year. So when they expand the cashless policy to 36 states, That is how the money accumulated to that amount. That 15 naira you see, go and count the millions of transactions times 15 naira per day. You will see the money is bigger than what I am expecting.
So maybe if I think it's only myself that is paying the 15 naira, there are many others that are paying the same money.
The money is, when you go back to the 60-40 ratio, there is another 100 naira, because they abandoned stamp duty and created 100 naira charges, double the stamp duty. So that 60 bank, they return 60, they send CBN 40 to CBN. So that 40 is not shown in the CBN balance sheet or in any government account. So that 40 times millions of transactions times those years is the money go to the private investors account in the CBN, then from there to I&E window market, borrow to some people, borrowed dollars to different states, and this is why we said it's a Nigerian money. Government borrowed its own money, and this is seriously, it's a disgrace to our nation that in 2023 budget, even the salary of the federal government workers, 70% of the salary will be implemented by borrowing. How Nasuru did this country with the 200 plus millions people doing almost 100 million transactions a day, deducting this money every day? You said government cannot afford to pay salary until they borrow. They go and borrow government money to give government. That is why our investigation shows that there is no faith or any sanity or justice or fairness in this borrowing money. How can you borrow, somebody will borrow you your money?
In our last interview, there was that letter that you disclosed to us from a lawyer asking you to withdraw your statement and also pay damages of 500 million naira. Is there anything new that came after that one?
No, I advised the lawyer on media that he should not trigger us to release another document that he never expect we have it. Whatever we are doing with the forensic auditors. And these forensic auditors, they are agent to the central bank, and they are agent to the federal government of Nigeria. At last, they even have agreement, master service agreement with an IPOST. So they have experience, they have even copyright on 50 naira stamp duty on cashless and manual tellers. So the lawyer sent me a letter that I should withdraw my statement. I am not talking on myself. I am talking on what committee find. As a secretary to the Presidential Committee on Reconciliation and Recovery of all stamp duty from 2013 to date, this is my responsibility to come out and tell Nigerians what do we find in our investigation. But what is surprising me yet, I am still trying to meet Mr. President to explain him the reason why I talk to you media. Because for almost 2 months we are running our committee activities without informing any media, and nobody's know when we were inaugurated, because we saw in out of secrecy, but frustration that people block me, as we did with Mr. President, that each and every week I should go and report it to him. That is what made me to become public. And This lawyer that he sent me this paper, he's supposed to invite me or come and meet me to hear the reasons why I mentioned such amount. I am not disgracing the CBN governor. I'm not disgracing the CBN. I am telling the truth about what is hidden in the CBN. And it's a shameful to Nigerian government that we should borrow money to pay salary of the federal government workers. Even salary, not even infrastructure, roads, project, road construction, drainage, bridges, and others, dams, and those development projects. If not even we are talking about capital project, we are talking about salary of the federal government workers. 70% of the salary will be implemented by borrowing. And these people, they hold Nigerian money in their hand. This is what is paining me. Why? Nigerian people cannot supposed to suffer.
Honorable Kazaure, are you optimistic that one day you will meet Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari?
Yeah, I want to meet Mr. President as my father, because I consider him as my father. I lost my father about 8 to 7 months ago.
7 years.
8 months. 8 months. Just 8,
very recently.
Recently.
Not even up to a year.
I lost my father.
Okay, let's go.
That born me. But the only father I have is the President Muhammadu Buhari now. So I am trying to make sure he succeeds in this his administration, because he's a man of God. He's a man of integrity. He's a man of honesty. But people spoil his name. People do him all these things. Some Nigerians are suspecting he's aware. So I am trying to enlighten and educate Nigerian people to tell them that since Mr. President appointed this committee, he gives us power to continue our investigation. Despite all these letters that they are sending us, they suspend our committee activities. Mr. President said he didn't suspend us. We should continue. So that means Mr. President is with Nigerian people, and still he is fighting corruption. It's not an issue of politics. It's the issue of economic. We are not fighting CBN government. We are not pursuing CBN government. He didn't block anything for us. But our investigation shows that the money we are borrowing, we have money. We are borrowing government money. We have money to solve all the nation debt. We have international and local. And we have money to fund our budget without borrowing. Why the Khan are trying to make this thing politics?
So people are trying to frustrate you with the president.
That is what is surprising me. People are trying to go and tell the president lie. They are trying to tell the president lie. I supposed to be supported by Khan. I supposed to be supported as Nigerian people are supporting this issue. Let allowed us to enter CBN and see those accounts if we are lying. In the next 1 month, we will settle the nation debt, and we will call journalists and tell them we recover not 89 trillion. The money is more than 89 trillion. The money is more than 89 trillion.
You have not answered this question.
There is nobody stronger than the president. What happened is the president believed in paper and reality. I am the only person that will go and brief the president my report, my committee report. What I see, what they are hidden, they block me.
Are you the only one in the committee?
I'm not the only one,
so
but
why is that you are the only one?
I am the secretary to the committee. All the documents are with me, and the president directed me to go and brief him in weekly basis.
Honorable, I know you have been meeting with Mr. President.
My advice to president is he should call me as he approved this committee between me and him. He should call me and ask me the report of this committee. This is my advice. Let president call me. Why are they blocking me to see the president? Let the president, you media, let you send the message to reach the president. Let the president invite me. Let the president call me I am sure if President call me, I will tell him what he will never allow these people to continue running this government in a rubbish way.
Finally, Honorable, how are we sure that this is not...
My issue will not be swept under the carpet, because I am sure even this government, they didn't allow this thing to continue. Anybody that emerge as a president in this country, he must invite me. He must support this committee to continue, because it's the only way to sustain this nation without borrowing.
Thank you, sir.